Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. So, right here today, I'm going to go over some of the platforms that I use and the reasons why. Now, my first and main broker is TD Ameritrade. I love them for futures. I love them for options. I can even do options on the indices, which are ES, which stands for the S&P 500, NASDAQ, which stands for, well, NQ, which stands for the NASDAQ, YM, which stands for the Dow Jones Industrial. Now, for the last few years, I've been trading the indices more with Forex brokerages for the reason that on TD Ameritrade or more mainly US brokerages, at any given moment, they can increase the margin. So, right now, to trade one contract of the ES, it is 14,300. Now, every 10-point movement is going to be a $500 payout. Now, that's great, but when I look at it, cost me 14,000 to make 500, where there's an avenue where I could spend maybe 2,000 or 3,000 and make that same $500 back. Now, for me, I'm looking at the percentage of what it costs me to enter the trade and what I'm making in a percentage. So if I spend $3,000 and I make $500, that is a higher percentage return than spending $14,000 to make 500. Now, with that being said, I'm going to show the MT4 platform. Give me just a moment. Boom. All right, here we go. So now here we have US 30. Now, depending on who you broker with, it'll be either US 30 or Dow Cash or US 30 Cash. US 500 is the S&P, which in other places it might be SPX 500. Right here you have US 100, which is the Nasdaq. In other places it might be NAS 100 and so forth. Now, if you once you set up a chart, so I'm going to create a whole new chart. I'm going to go new chart. It's running a bit slow. Let's do ES, right? So this is how it comes when you first set it up. So when you first log in, it's going to give you 4 squares of this. To log in, once you download it, is you go to File, you go to Log into Trading Account, then you type in the account number and password that the broker provides you. And then on a later day, you can change it in the back office if you like. So what I do here is I right click, I drop down to properties, and I will take away, I like my screens, the back of my screens being black. So the grid is gray, so I'm going to switch the gray to black. Then I'm going to switch the bar up and bar down to gray. Then bull candle, I'm going to make it green. Bear candle, I'm going to make it red. Hit OK. Now I'm going to zoom in. Oh, gotta make this into candles. Voila, right? Now I use the moving averages, the industry standards, the 200 and the 50. So what I will do is I'll go to Insert, Indicators, Trend, Moving Average, and right here, as you can see, 50, blue, exponential, hit OK. Now I will repeat the same process for the 200, indicator, trend, moving average. I'll switch this to 200. I'll change the color to like a turquoise baby blue, aqua, hit OK, and voila. Now you can see right here, these are the different time frames. So right now it's on a 1 hour, switch it to a 4 hour, and so forth. Now, the indices are not standard for most brokerages. So you have to add them to here, to your market watch, right? So in order to do that is you're going to go to Insert, Symbols. You're going to scroll down till you see CFD cash. So right here, cash CFD. I'll click. And as you can see, I already have US 100, US 30, and US 500. So all you have to do is double click on it and then it'll light up. So as you can see, these ones are off. So if I want, right click, now it's on. I close, and if I scroll down, you'll see there it is, the German index, right? And you can click it and drag it all the way up. So what I'll do is, because I like my indices right at the top, for when I come in, I will click on it, drag it up. Voila. So that is how you get the indices onto your watch list. Now, let's say, okay, I want this to be the index and not the Euro USD. All I do is I click and drag and drop. And now you can see, if I want to switch it to the US 30, click, drag, here's the US 30 on the 4-hour. Bring it down to a 30-minute time frame. I can bring it down to a 15-minute time frame. And then if I wanted to be flushed with everything else, all I have to do is hit this 4 squares and it'll make everything evenly. I'm not going to do that right now. So that's just an example as what you can do to be able to set up your MetaTrader 4 or MetaTrader 5. They're basically the same. MetaTrader 5 is just a bit newer, some easier applications, but it's the same thing. Now, for me to set up the one-click trade, I right-click, I click on the one-click trading, and here it is. So now here is where I can come and I can adjust my lot size. So lot size is basically the equivalence of contract sizes or the amount of shares that you would go into a stock. So a one lot on a foreign currency is the equivalence of doing 1,000 shares. So now with the indices, the pricing and the lot size will vary. And if you see right here, it's closing at 32,790, which is going to be completely different from what the close was on TD Ameritrade, which is the actual futures from the CME feed. So that is something else to also keep in mind when trading on Forex brokerages, is that the number value is going to be different than what you see on TD Ameritrade or TradeOvert. But what's important is always the chart, right? The chart levels are always the same. The representation of the chart levels are always the same. The value is different, but that's not really important. It's more so like the levels of the chart. So I'll be going more in depth into that as we proceed.